hey, so this is like something that like I really want to know. So today I was at school and I walked in like the little village area, like, I was just chilling. I was doing my homework and I sat down to do my homework and this really fine black man walked past me. Disclaimer, I'm black. But anyway, so he walked past me and I was like, damn, he's really cute. I'm not going to talk to him anyway, but like in my head for a second, I was like, he's really cute. And then I was like, oh, he's tall, like he's an athlete, blah, blah, blah. And then, what I said to myself? I said, this black man probably don't even like black girls. He probably doesn't even talk to black women. He probably don't even think twice about black girls at all whatsoever. And this is something that has been happening to me since high school, and I'm so tired of having to wonder whether or not black men even like black girls. It's so disheartening. It's ridiculous at this point.
The clip you just saw was a young lady on TikTok, and the clip was actually posted on Twitter by a man that felt sorry for her. I don't have to tell you about the brainwashing of black men in their simpish ways. Thank God it's not the vast majority of men, but this is typical of what the Z's and the Z women have to go through, because it might sound like she's self-serving, and she is. Might sound like she's narcissistic, and she is, but the thing is, that's her experience, and she's absolutely right, because I see it in my daily life, exactly what she's talking about. Do I feel sorry for her? No. That's just the nature of the beast, and sometimes when the rabbit gets the gun, it ain't no fun. But, like I said, the Black Pill Gnostic channel is going to be a little different, because this is where I'm going to put most of my rant. So if you want to hear a BGS rant, I don't know if it's going to be daily, but if you want to hear a good rant, this is where it's going to be. And oh, brother, we'll have to see how this is going to turn out, but I got a funny feeling there may be a rant coming on. So I was listening to Sister George and Concrete Rose, shout out to them, talking about the high value man versus the great value man. Now, great value is a brand of clothing. I can't remember who sells it. It might be Walmart. I think it's Walmart. Great value means the economy class of clothing, right? So the great value man is the ordinary guy. And they were saying that the ordinary guy doesn't have any right to ask for anything. He should be happy with what he gets, because basically nobody really wants him for the most part, right? And so it kind of set some kind of way with me, especially the way black women talk about black men and them not being up to standard, and that nobody wants them, which is not true, because we see that, as we can see in the video, that's not true, because some other women date black men. So I was actually perusing some stats. I wanted to see the sex ratio between groups, right? The sex ratio is how many men versus how many women, and that is your sex ratio. Normally it's more men than women. I think the black community is the only group that has less men than women, because black men do die earlier. And so I found out, because of immigration and the vast majority of Latinos that come over the border are males because they're coming over to work, that there are actually more Latinos than there are actually Latinas. And that's probably why Latinos get awfully angry when their women date black men, especially in Los Angeles. There's been causes for fights, and also the causes for Latino men trying to drive black families out of the neighborhood because they want to get rid of the black men. Shout out to Jim Crowism, okay, because that sort of barrier for black men, it exists. Probably it seems to exist in all groups. They don't want their women dating black men who their women seem more attractive. Is what it is. But anyway, I was actually perusing and actually ran into this article from the Washington Post in 2015, and the title is "Did I Need an Interracial Dating Intervention?" And it says it was at an Indian restaurant in Manhattan about 10 years ago when they told me. I was having dinner with a friend from work and two of their friends who'd all met at Howard University. We drank wine and talked about normal early 20s life stuff, terrible jobs, terrible apartments, terrible dates. Then my friend turned to her college friends, all black women, and told them I dated black men. I'm white, and to be clear, I don't exclusively date black men. African Americans make up about 13% of the U.S. population, and African American men make up a slightly higher percentage of my dating history. My friend imparted this news to the others as though she were telling them I always parked in a handicapped space. Interesting. They looked at me and tissed in a way that was half joking, half very, very serious. It's so hard for us to find quality black men, they told me. There are more college-educated black women than men, which is true. Black men are incarcerated at 6 times the rate of white men, which is something I always bring up, right? This old trope. Anyway, they pointed out, don't take black men from us. We want them. I wasn't super duper buying it. Wasn't it racist for me to eliminate a possible mate based on his skin color? And besides, I said, why don't you guys just date men who aren't black? The response came almost in unison. They don't want to date us. It was one of those moments that takes a privilege you never realized you had and doesn't just make it visible, it makes it huge. These women were smart and attractive and funny and vivacious. In fact, each one of them outdid me in most of those categories, and I'm pretty vivacious. But the realities of dating, they were telling me, meant that their race was frequently held against them. Non-black men who dated black women were so rare, they said, that they had given up hope of finding a serious relationship with someone of a different race. I thought a lot after that dinner about whether I was hurting black women by dating black men. But in the 10 years since, I haven't stopped dating them. I wonder why. Because deciding not to date someone based on race still seemed wrong. How would I even go about it? I imagine trying to explain my reasoning to the next black guy who hit on me at a party. You're really great. You're great, really, I say. And I totally date you, except I made a promise to some people not to date black men. No, not like that. It's actually the opposite of racist because the people I made the promise to are also black. So you see, I'm trying to be nice to black people, but to other black people, not to you. Not right now. And then I would, insist that the guy only hit on black women for the rest of the night? Interrupt if I saw him approaching an Asian woman? I've since moved cities, and I don't keep in touch so much with the friends from that dinner 10 years ago. I also felt like interracial dating was becoming more accepted, at least based on what I've seen on Facebook and on TV. It didn't seem so rare for a black woman to date non-black men anymore, but something else was also happening during that time. More and more people began dating online, according to a 2013 study from the Pew Research Center. 1 in 5 of those ages 20 to 34 has gone online looking for dates. 59% of Americans think online dating is a good way to go. It's a good way to meet people. In 2005, only 44% held that view. And more online dating means more data about people's preferences and online interactions. A recent OkCupid survey validates my friend's frustrations with interracial dating. There is a bias against black women. The company found that in 2014, white, Asian, and Latino men all rated black women about 20% less attractive than the average woman, while black men rated them 1% more attractive. White women fared better with non-black men. White, Asian, and Latino men rated us between 3 to 6% higher than average in 2014, while black men rated us 6% less attractive than the average woman. Here's the thing. Dating success isn't based on your average attractiveness as determined by a website, even a data-hungry one. I don't want to be dating a hierarchy where a 10 dates a 10 and 5 pairs off with a 5. I want dating to be about finding someone with a mix of positive and negatives that work pretty well with my own. It's important to me that my partner appreciates my intelligence, values my kindness, and can put up with my love of stupid jokes, but I don't want him to date me for my bra size or my skin color. The only way I can think of to make sure dating isn't about race is to date without regard to race. So I'm going to keep dating whoever I want, looking for that person who's a good fit. And that's from 2015, and that's from the Washington Post. The link will be in the description. But that's interesting. The interesting part is that the black women in this story said that non-black men don't want to date them. And just like the Latino information that I read, especially in California, where it's a Latino state, I mean, it's not even close, right? And Latino women date black men. You would think you see more of the opposite, but the fact is that you don't. For every 10 black guys I see dating Latino women, I may see one black female Latino couple, maybe one. And that's rare. And trust and believe, when I go to the taco truck, I see a Latina and her black boyfriend all the time, getting their tacos, getting their food. I can't think of once where I've seen a black woman approach with a mate or with somebody other than a black man. And even though this story is old, it still seems to be true. And the TikTok video that you saw confirms it. And the women that are Z's, especially Z's, and the younger millennials get on our page, on my channel, and come into our chat doing a live stream saying exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. That's how come you line up night after night thinking that Kevin Samuels got a lottery ticket for you, that you can somehow get on camera and entice a high-value dude, right? Or a six-figure guy, when they are rarer than hen's teeth. Only about 5 or 6% of black men total that work, not black male total. Because if you average in the dudes that don't make the grade, that or don't have any earnings, and for whatever reason, some guys are in school, some guys are on retired, some guys on Social Security, but almost half of adult black males don't have any earnings, because we actually went over the BLS report. So black males with any earnings are still not that plentiful, and say that black men don't have any kind of options is bullshit. And that bothers women more than anything else, is that black men have more options than them. And basically, if you listen to Crystal Caras and Swirlers, they say that black men have more options. That's how come they're always encouraging black women to open up theirs. You got to open up your options, girl, because guess what? Black men are dating out. You can't wait on them, and there's not enough of them. Crystal Caras, out of her own mouth, will say that. But yet, they think they have an advantage over us. And they do. It's called your mama's brainwashing. Your mama brainwashed you to think that black women are your only option, and they're not. Your mama brainwashed you to think that black women are better than you, and they're not. Your mama brainwashed you into thinking that black women have way more options of men than you do, and they don't. So you sit here online complaining and waiting for your turn for a black woman that's out there, that's plentiful. There's plenty of black women out there for black men. Go to Atlanta, go to Houston, go to DC. And those are just the black women that are in your area. Okay, they're in the United States. We're not talking about overseas, and we're not even talking about other races. And for the most part, this is not a millennial, and this is not a Gen Z problem. Okay, and damn sure it's not going to be a Generation Alpha problem. Because trust and believe, Gen Z have no fucks to give. They don't. They don't care about racial loyalty. So Gen X and Boomers, who are the ones that really complain about it, really it's just Generation X, because Boomers have aged out. Boomers don't really give a damn about this kind of stuff. They don't. Guys like me that are my age, we don't care about this stuff. It's really Generation X. Generation X and maybe older millennials are actually sitting here battling out with black women over what? Over nothing. They don't matter. Black men have put themselves in their own box, a box formed by their mothers, because the younger generations don't care. They pick the best woman for them, and if that woman happens to be black or happens not to be black, guess what they're doing? My son is a millennial. He doesn't date black women. He doesn't stay in that box. Black women approach him all the time. Date him. Just like what that girl said, that he's cute, but he probably doesn't date black women. You know what? She's probably right. And you got other men trying to shame you, and they're going back in that box. Instead of that girl getting off her ass and competing and proving that she's the better woman, she sits there and complains and eats her sour grapes. Like, he probably wouldn't want me anyway. How do you know? You didn't get out there and talk to him. Why? Because even though she knows that he may or may not date black women, she still thinks she's better than he is. And just like most of these women that come online, that we've heard for the last couple years, they think they're too good to worry about what black men like. Just like I heard what Concrete Rose and Sister George said, unless you are like masters of the universe, what you want out of a woman is inconsequential. And those days are over. What black men want out of women is going to be primary, not secondary, primary. And as automation and COVID starts rolling through the black community, rolling through America, period, you're going to see a leveling. I think I mentioned yesterday about the Dante, the guy that got shot in Minnesota, right? You would have expected a black guy get shot in Minnesota, that'll be some older black woman that was Dante's mom, right? No, it's a white woman. That's going to start to become the norm instead of the exception. And the ball is just rolling. And what sickens me is black women cannot get a clue. They can't buy a clue. They can't buy a vowel to figure out the whole puzzle. Black women are stuck on stupid. They're doubling down on stupid. The same mess. Even Crystal Carrison, who basically is a huckster, because even when she gave her event, her retreat, her pink pill retreat, 90% of the black women that showed up either had black husbands or black boyfriends. Only 10% of the women that showed up had a boyfriend or husband that was other. There's your 90-10. Okay? There's your 90-10. If black men talk about 80-20 rule or 90-10 rule, there's your 90-10. Black women, for the most part, have no choice but to date you. They got no choice but to date you. Most black women are overweight. And that's, Kevin has been saying that every night, at least two, 3 times a night, Kevin is playing that music for black women. And black women insist on being overweight because they don't care what black men think. I remember Concrete Rose, Sister George said, black women won't change unless black men walk away. Well, guess what, Sister George and Concrete? They're already walking away. Only a handful of Gen X men are still holding on to the fact that they have to date a black woman. Have to. They're willing to spend a whole bunch of money and go to dating coaches trying to please black women. Guess what the younger folks ain't doing? Okay? They're trying to figure out how they can get to all of them. Like that old joke about the young cow and the old cow, right? About going down the hill. Except this one is reversed. The old cow says, let's run down the hill so we can hurry up and get that black woman, right? That black cow right there. The young cow is saying, why do we have to stop with the black cow? Let's go down the hill and let's get them all. Black men need to stop putting themselves in a goddamn box because they have a predisposed disposition to date a black woman. And basically one that, because you're in that box, can treat you badly and tell you what she wants instead of what you want. Other races of women are willing to compete, even above and beyond their own men. But you want to date a black woman that has low-level contempt for you and that looks down on you as lesser, no matter what she has. So if you're an average dude, you're an average guy, you have access to other kinds of women. So I say, why don't you not at least find a woman that will treat you properly, okay? You can find a white woman or Latina that has the same body type as the woman that you're dating. And she's probably going to be smaller and she's probably going to be nicer. And she's probably going to be more grateful that you picked her. And that TikTok video is actually a portends of things to come. So black women, you're on notice. Whether you like it or not, you're on notice because this isn't going to stop. You already know it's not going to stop. 60% of your Zs will probably marry or date out. And when you get to the alphas, which are like 15 years behind them, it could be 80% by the time you get to them. And they're just generation 5 of integration. They're just generation 5. In 5 years, you're going to have another generation. You're going to have generation beta or generation B that's going to come up. And basically, if you don't get it done in 10 years, basically, guess what? Generation B, it's over. You can kiss it, goodbye. You kiss what your daughters and your granddaughters hope to actually have a black community going. You better get busy while Generation X is still caping for you. Because once Generation X stops caping for you, it's over. Either this community is fair for everybody or it's fair for nobody. Either this community starts respecting and cherishing and developing its black males and its black men, or basically it needs to go into the trash heap. It needs to be absorbed. Because the Native Americans got absorbed no matter what. And there's no way that Native American women felt the same way about their men that black women feel about theirs. And there's only so many kicks that the black dog can take. And one day that black dog will jump the fence and never come back. And I think that moment probably already happened. We just haven't realized it. We're still waiting on that dog to come back to the yard. But anyway, let me jump off of here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys